What up, motherfuckers? It's your boy, the Hater, and I've been a little bit busy with work and stuff, so I haven't been able to do many videos, but don't worry, motherfuckers. Soon enough, the Hater's gonna have some free time. I'm gonna be doing videos almost every day, if not every day, so look forward to that, cocksuckers. All right. Now, this video, highly requested and also highly desired from your boy as well. We're talking, of course, about LA Knight, all right? My personal favorite wrestler right now, right? And in my opinion, one of the only people that has some sort of star quality, right? Here's the truth for all of you guys, right? The truth is this. LA Knight, in his presentation, does a really good job of explaining who he is, right? He always talks, if you notice in his promos, he always talks about how people are irrelevant, and he also always talks about how he's basically a real man and the other jobbers play video games, right? He harkens back to the old school, right? He feels like a man amongst boys. Now, there are people that are bigger than him, like Big E. Big E's bigger than him and stronger than him, right? But Big E still feels like a nerd. You know why? He is a nerd, motherfuckers. That's the answer. That's the long and short of it. Now, with that being said, what makes LA Knight a great wrestler? Because it's not just the way that he presents himself, because anyone can present themselves that way, right? But for him, it's effective. One day, many, many years ago, I tuned into NWA Power with like 5 R's after it, right? And the first person I saw was Eli Drake, which is, of course, the same person as LA Knight, right? And he cut a very similar promo. He basically laid it out like nice and quick. He said, this company is the company where men wrestle, right? And then I watched the episode and it was like him. It was Tom Latimer or whatever from... he was in NXT, he was in the Ascension or whatever, but he looks like a real man, right? James Storm, you know what I mean? That guy called Tim Storm, who's like 60, right? Magnus, right? It's all these people that clearly are men, right? They're the kind of men that you would want to be around if there was a problem, right? They're people that are gonna take charge and they're gonna go dominate, right? If there's a problem. You know, you want to be surrounded by these types of people, so when shit hits the fan, you're not left holding your own balls and thinking to yourself, wow, I'm the only man here, right? If something like this happened in WWE, everyone would look at, like, if the WWE airplane were to crash on a deserted island, right, like in Lost, nobody would be looking to Xavier Woods for guidance, right? Everyone would be looking at LA Knight, okay? He oozes this, right? People think he's charismatic, and he obviously is. But in my opinion, it's not so much the charisma that makes him stand out. It's straight up the fact that he feels like a real man, right? He doesn't feel like a boy. Like Ricochet, for example, feels like a boy, right? Like almost everyone feels like a boy, right? They feel like geeks that liked wrestling when they were young, and then they became wrestlers. LA Knight is the kind of guy that probably bullied people for watching wrestling and then became a wrestler, right? Other people that have a similar quality, not to the same extent, Roman Reigns, right? He feels like a man. You know he doesn't really give a shit, right? I mean, he cares to an extent, but he wanted to be a football player. Roman Reigns, and look at him, right? Versus, let's say, I don't know, Seth Rollins, right? Completely different. You're not going to see LA Knight debase himself unless they make him like Seth Rollins does, wearing pink, goofy shit, right? That's not in his character. It's not in his wheelhouse, right? This is why Cucks, when he was feuding with Bray Wyatt, who in my opinion is a huge nerd, right? I couldn't understand how I am supposed to believe that Bray Wyatt is going to beat up LA Knight. It doesn't make any sense. LA Knight is the best thing right now in WWE. There's a few wrestlers that are better than him because his moveset is not... It could be better, right? He should be doing more power moves instead of like a face buster type finisher, right? But it is what it is. There's a few wrestlers that are better, but as we've already established numerous times over in the Hater channel, it's never been about wrestling, right? It's never about the in-ring product. I don't care about the in-ring product, right? I am offended when the in-ring product is crap and people pretend it's good, right? Because, for example, you take like a Nakamura, right? He brings nothing to the table, complete jobber, right? He has 3 moves, and people are like, oh, he's great in the ring. No, he's not great in the ring, right? LA Knight's better than him in the ring, too, but more importantly, LA Knight is better than him, not even on the mic. Who cares about the mic? He's better than him in terms of how he is presented, right? And that's something that is pretty much a lost art. The presentation of people as legitimate main eventers, right? As legitimate badasses. You know, of course, we all know that in combat, you could be a goof, right? You could be a giant goof like Mayweather is, right? And still kick ass, there's no doubt about it, right? But that's not what sells, right? People want real men, right? Look at Conor McGregor, right? People think, oh, he talked his way to it and he won a few fights and he did it because of charisma. There's a misunderstanding here. It's not just charisma. It's the fact that he's very masculine, right? He comes out there, he acts like a man is supposed to act, arrogant to a certain degree, and also I answer to no one. That attitude is what makes people like Stone Cold and The Rock great. And it's the same attitude that makes people like Ricochet and Daniel Bryan not great, right? Think about it. Daniel Bryan's height, what was it? It was the Yes Movement. What was the Yes Movement? It literally was Daniel Bryan pretending to be LA Knight, right? It was basically Daniel Bryan saying, I'm not listening to the authority, right? LA Knight doesn't even have to do this. It's just built into him because that's the kind of person he is, right? And this is what confidence really is. It's basically like, nobody tells me what to do, right? That's the end of that, right? Nobody tells me. Nobody's my daddy. I'm the daddy around here, right? And that's exactly why LA Knight, in my personal opinion, cuckolds, should by far be the favorite to win the Money in the Bank. Now, I understand that there are a few considerations. Number one, Logan Paul is in this match. So, of course, there's obviously a chance that Logan Paul could win, right? Because that would be entertaining, if I'm being honest. Logan Paul is Money in the Bank. It would fit him well because he is kind of an opportunist. He is a part-timer. So it would make sense, right? And in my opinion, honestly, if I'm being honest, Logan Paul does deserve a world heavyweight shot, right? And maybe he deserves to win it as well. Because let's be real, he's a celebrity who is bigger than WWE in terms of he doesn't need them at all, right? Like Dean Ambrose needs WWE or he has to go to AEW, right? If he burns that bridge, he's fucked, right? Logan Paul doesn't need WWE. And despite this, he comes to work and puts in the work. Now he's going to put his ass in a ladder match where he could get hurt. Now, there's that. The event is happening in England. Pete Dunne is in this match. Pete Dunne, Butch. Butch is in this match. Butch would normally have a 0 chance of winning. But because they are in England, he has a 5% chance, right? There is a small chance that Butch could win. And they could give England their moment. Now, Butch has been presented clearly as like the second or maybe third guy in the Brawling Brutes. So in my opinion, I don't even know why he's in this match, aside from the fact that he's English. The rest of the people in this match are complete jobbers that have, in my opinion, a 0% chance of winning. Nakamura does have a chance because at the end of the day, he won the Royal Rumble. People still like it for some reason. And he's kind of in this redemption arc where he's finally doing things and kicking ass, right? So he has a chance just because he won the Royal Rumble. And it's like, all right, he's never become champion. Maybe you would give it to him once just to like say we have a Japanese world champion, right? But in my opinion, in terms of booking, in terms of how over they are, and in terms of which one of these motherfucks, right, makes a champion, the clear answer is, say it with me now, say it with me, Santos Escobar. No, not Santos Escobar. It's going to have to be L.A. Knight. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, cucks, I'm actually looking forward to this Money in the Bank because it could be a moment where we actually have a star established, right? It's been so long. We've had so many Money in the Banks where it's like they tease that Mustafa Ali's going to win only for Brock Lesnar, already established as a star, to win. We've had situations where Otis wins only for The Miz to steal it with him, from him in a match, right? We've had all these situations, and this Money in the Bank is very, very unique because, first of all, Austin Theory ruined the whole Money in the Bank by cashing it in on the U.S. Title, which sets a precedent. It wouldn't shock me if LA Knight wins and then he cashes it in on like Gunther or something, right? Like it wouldn't shock me at all because that's how they're presented this. But hopefully, because now there's also the World Heavyweight title, right? They can cash it in on Seth Rollins instead of, nobody's cashing in on Roman Reigns. This is not going to happen, right? But he could cash it in on Seth Rollins, right? Or maybe even Roman Reigns, who knows? But the point is, this Money in the Bank is also unique for another reason. Maybe because Austin Theory cashed it in for the U.S. title, the level of wrestlers here is the lowest in history, right? We have legitimate undercarders like Butch and Santos Escobar who have no business ever becoming world champions. In this match, we have Ricochet, who has pretty much settled into his mid-card jobber role, and in my opinion, settled well. He hurts nobody. Ricochet being in there doesn't bother me at all. He's going to do some cool shit. I like Ricochet for what he is. I just don't think he should be like a main eventer, right? However, and even LA Knight, I would say right now, he's a mid-card, maybe even an undercard guy in many ways, right? Because he doesn't really do anything, right? He hasn't had any meaningful feuds or hasn't had any meaningful matches. But if there's ever been a person that would benefit from the Money in the Bank, except for The Miz back in the day, and Edge, it's LA Knight. Yeah.